You're listening to the So Good It Doesn't Make Sense podcast, a podcast for women navigating divorce who want more. More clarity, more money, more peace, more power. I'm Megan Norris, divorce expert, coach, and the friend who's going to tell you the truth. Not just about what's happening right now, but about what's possible for you next. This podcast is about making decisions you trust, building a life you actually want, and becoming the version of you that no one saw coming. Whether you're in it, ending it, or already out, you're in the right place. You're about to become the CEO of your life and create one so good it doesn't make sense. Let's get started. Oh, hi, welcome back to the podcast. Happy Monday morning. This episode is coming out a little late because turns out that Mercury retrograde ate the sound for all the episodes I recorded last Monday. So we're going to do it again. And it's okay because this one's going to be better. So if you clock the release of the podcast, this one's a little late. It's okay. It's still Monday. Hope you had a good weekend. I had a very emotional weekend, but I'm feeling much more, stable, peaceful, calm, optimistic again this morning. So I'm probably not the only one who has been somewhat eaten alive by the Mercury retrograde situation that's been that we've been enjoying for the past 3 weeks. Okay, anyway, moving on. We're going to talk today about post-divorce mindset shifts and hacks. This did not occur to me until probably the last 7 days, but I'm so glad that it did, and I cannot wait to say it because I think I might have given you the wrong impression if you're post-divorce, or maybe you're about to be, or you're just looking forward to that. Because I think it might be easy to consume my content and be in my world and think that I have it all figured out and that the results that I've created in the last 3-4 years, which are truly extraordinary and so good they don't make sense, so good they confuse people, and I never will stop being delighted by that. But I'm really good at glamorizing my life, and I'm naturally a very optimistic person. And I might have given you the impression that it's easier, or it has come easier to me than it really has. I'm obsessed with my life, and I truly do get out of bed every morning so grateful, not every morning, most mornings, so grateful for my past self, for taking charge and refusing to be a statistic, refusing to suffer, refusing to take 5-10 years to quote recover, and the deep peace and sovereignty that I feel in my bones now is amazing. But it's not really the whole story or the full picture, because the life I have now and the future that I'm still building and creating did not come from a glow up routine or a morning ritual. It didn't come from doing. And I think this is the same thing that I noticed when I first started working in the divorce space, is that there's this massive gap. There's all this content and support for what to do, right? How do you get divorced? What do you need to do? And here's a checklist. Same thing for after divorce, although it's not as much. I don't think we have as many creators and coaches and support professionals for the post-divorce woman, which I'm going to talk about in just a second, a little bit more. But the content that we do have, and now listen, I don't consume a lot of it, so maybe I'm mistaken, but what I do see is either really niched down, like how to start your own business as a coach, or it's a checklist of like how to glow up and what to do. The gap I find that was so needed in the divorce space for me and now post-divorce for me is between the knowing what to do and then what. Because I know what to do, and so do you. You're very capable and smart, and you keep your ish together. So the doing, the things of like how to do it, fall a little flat and leave you wanting a little bit more. And I really haven't talked a lot about the actual identity work that fills that gap when you are someone like me who's like, I know what to do, but it's not feeling so great. It's not feeling like I thought it would feel. This doesn't feel glamorous. It doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel like the vision. It doesn't feel like I thought it was going to feel anymore. Whoa, what's going on? What's happening? It's very disorienting. And so I talk a lot about laying the foundation for this season through the emotional divorce work that I do with women getting divorced or recently divorced who are still navigating emotional resilience and financial sovereignty and the lifestyle design. And wait, what's the other pillar in the Divorce Academy? Emotional sovereignty, lifestyle design, emotional resilience, financial sovereignty, lifestyle design, and holy cow, I don't know what's happening to my brain. Anyway, there's 4. And those really are the foundation of this next season. But then what, right? Like what happens when you go from that group project mentality to this sovereign, independent, no more group project work that comes after divorce? And what really is needed is an understanding of how to do the uncomfortable identity work that most people avoid, which is why they recreate similar relationships, stay stuck at the same financial level or net worth, or even less, because most of us have never seen what is now emerging modeled for us before. So when we're choosing to become somebody that in terms of archetypes doesn't really exist, a divorced woman who gets richer in every way, financially, emotionally, spiritually, relationally, erotically, then we really are, we're writing the story, we're writing the script right now. But what does it look like? Who's going to articulate it? And that's what I want to help you do a little bit. Because society really doesn't know what to do with a woman who's post-divorce who isn't falling into the box we're expected to fall into. We're expected to be heartbroken and overwhelmed, poorer, sad, maybe a little bitter and resentful. There's a lot of focus, at least that I see, on glowing up and dating. And it just is like, if you're not wrestling with those things, then people like, they don't know what to do with you. And what I find for myself, and you can probably relate to this if you're on the other side of your divorce, is that because this is such a new frontier and because people don't know what to do with me, my brain, because of the conditioning that I'm not even fully aware of, right? I'm still unpacking it. My brain wants to take me back to that narrative a lot. And that's the identity work that really needs to happen so that, yes, we deserve the glow up externally. But when it comes from the inside out and there's a solid foundation for which that glow up to be built on, it's going to feel a lot better and less empty and scary and lonely and misaligned. Okay. So I just want to be really clear. If you're seeing my life or my business, maybe you're a coach, and you're thinking, why don't I feel that way yet? And maybe you're starting to wonder, am I doing something wrong? And maybe there's some shame because you think you should be further than you are, or you should feel differently than you do. I want you to lay all that down. That is old programming that is not serving you, because the answer is you're right where you need to be. Not behind, not broken. You're not regressing or like going. Sometimes my clients will come to me and say things like, why am I feeling this way again? As if they should never have that emotion ever again. You don't need another coach telling you what to do. You already know what to do. You need someone to help you make sense of who you're becoming and how to become her with less suffering and in a way that's more fun, feels like collapsing time, quantum leaping. That's the identity work. And it's not glamorous. Guys, it's not glamorous. It's not pretty. It's not as marketable on Instagram because it's invisible. It looks like letting people misunderstand you. Saying no or having a boundary when it costs you something, but because you're honoring what's true for you. It looks like choosing your future that you want when there doesn't appear to be any evidence that it exists yet. And that's what I want to talk a little bit about today, because it's what I'm designing my next offer around. And it's the space that I'm creating for women who feel like they're being pulled into this. I almost feel like it's like a vacuum. It's like this sucking, right? I'm being pulled, slowly eroding, pulled back into this story that I worked so intentionally around during my divorce and maybe right afterwards. And then the dust is settling, and I worked so hard to rise above the cult of average way of doing divorce. And now I'm feeling like I'm getting maybe sucked back into this idea that something is happening to me that's not for me. And maybe my vision isn't going to come the way that I thought it was going to come. And I'm feeling really lonely and disoriented. And I'm not sure how to move forward in a way that honors my vision, but also the obstacles I'm currently facing. And that's exactly, if that's you, that's your who this message is meant for. And if it is you, you will know immediately. Because you'll be like, oh yeah, I relate to that. And I don't have a lot of evidence that more people are feeling this way. This is total gut instinct based on my own experience and the work I'm doing with the handful of clients I have that are on the other side of their divorce already. And trusting that if I'm experiencing it and they're starting to name it more clearly, then it's probably very widespread. Okay, so I'm going to give you I wrote them down, 4 shifts that you can make today if you're on the other side of divorce that will help you lessen your resistance to where you are and start to embrace the identity shifts that are going to help you manifest your dream life, the life that's so good it doesn't make sense. It's closer than you think it is. So we got to reframe. Number 1, we got to reframe this glow up narrative. Side note, I just remembered this. There is an influencer / fitness guru guy who his whole platform is dedicated to helping post-divorce women. Like, it's something very crass and on the nose, like get sexy again. And he gets results. Like his transformations are amazing. But his marketing is very much to the fear, lack, and scarcity of post-divorce women feeling like they're not good enough. And he asked me to be on his podcast um, a couple of years ago. And I had never heard of him, but I was so turned off by his um, marketing that I said no because uh, I just I just didn't even want to know what that conversation was going to look like. But then later I changed my mind and thought, but maybe I could reach more people and help them because he has a huge platform. So I tried to reach back out to him. He never responded. I think he like got the judgment and then anyway, so it's sometimes messy behind the scenes over here. Okay, so number one, we're gonna reframe the glow up narrative because it is some about the surface level wins, right? The low hanging fruit. Like maybe you go get Botox and you feel like it's changed your life. That's a thing, right? It's like you recognize yourself in the mirror more. You figure out your hair that you really want. Hopefully. You know, maybe you start to get back in shape. That matters. I'm not by any means like those have been priorities for me and they matter and they help me, you know, mitigate some of the other discomfort in my life to know that the things I am controlling for me and about me, I am, you know, the things I can control, I am controlling. But it can't just be that because that will always leave you feeling empty. I want your external glow up to come from an internal sovereignty and identity shift that's about abundance and becoming more of who you really are and not making up for something out of fear. So it's more about how quietly and powerfully you begin to live for the timeline, for the life that you want, right? Your truth, your authenticity, your future self. That's what is going to make you glow from the inside out. And then all the other stuff becomes really fun bonus that really amplifies that internal glow up. So that's how I want you to reframe that. Yes, we get all of it, but I don't want you to neglect, or more importantly, I don't want you to have the thought error that some external glow up is going to give you the peace and sovereignty and empowerment that you're actually really hungry for. That's a fun side effect and bonus of it, but it's not the thing. Okay. So don't be fooled. Okay. Number two, on these internal shifts and identity shifts, okay, you don't need another checklist on how to get over your ex. We got to stop thinking about him because it's not about him. You need someone to show you how to trust yourself again. There's almost always, maybe 100% of the time, a breach in the self-trust that's very deep and often subconscious because you're so smart. You know, if your brain just offered you the thought, I don't trust you, you would think that's ridiculous. So it's more subtle than that. But when something doesn't work out the way you thought it was going to work out, the way you tried so hard to make it work out, the outcome you tried to force happen that just didn't happen that way, we have to look at the issue of self-trust and reframe the story of your past. And that is part of the identity work that I do and that I have done. And it's not glamorous. It's really raw. It's messy. It feels disorienting and foggy. If you think back to the episode I did about, you know, what we often think of as being set back is really just evidence of our quantum leaping. It doesn't feel comfortable to go into the depths of letting go of a story that's not serving you, to look at the self-trust the breach in self-trust, to look at who you want to be intentionally and to do that work. It's not pretty and it's not fun. It's a massive ego death, usually with a lot of tears and snot and dry heaving. It's intense. And I want you to I want you to know that that's part of the process. And I didn't get here without moving through those moments. I just had one this last weekend. It's like ugly crying, ugly, ugly crying, and grief. It's like a purge. Almost feels like an exorcism. Like it just has to come out. And over time, it doesn't happen overnight, but over time, when you do that work, you begin to trust yourself again because you've held your hand through some really uncomfortable moments. But that is an internal thing that happens. And it has nothing to do with your ex. So we don't need to focus on him. Okay, number 3, on other people's discomfort around how you're choosing to navigate your post-divorce season. This is really common. People don't know what to do with a divorced woman who's in love with her life and who's not sad all the time or heartbroken or broke, and who doesn't, and I don't mean circumstantially, I mean internally, emotionally, spiritually, psychologically broke. Never mind financially. And I think this is partly the misconception that would be easy to have if you've been following me for a long time, is that we're conditioned to equate amazing results with ease, with somehow like skipping the hard parts. Like, oh, it must be easy. There must be some secret I don't know about because it must be easier for her. No. And I think that's the misunderstanding here, is that when people, they don't know what to do with you. If you're happy and you have embraced the raw growth 50-50 of being on the other side of divorce, and you understand that it's all working for you and that everything is like you're manifesting magical things, so there's really nothing to be upset about or victimized by, they don't know how to reconcile that. How can you believe that you have more money, more power, more joy than you did before? That's confusing for us and it's threatening. And that's why we need new containers. We need new communities and new standards where we can acknowledge the raw parts that feel awful in the moment, and we can be validated and seen, but we don't need to be victimized by them. There is a difference between, oh, I wrote this down and it was so good. Hang on, I'm going to find it because I wrote this down and I thought, oh, this has got to go into this new offer. Okay. There's a difference between a nourished and nourishing rage, right? Where it's sacred and you have sisters, you have other women who understand that your sacred rage or whatever emotion, your sacred grief, is valid and worthy, but it's not misattuned. All right. The value of community. So if you have ever had the experience of like, maybe you tell your friend what happened in your divorce and they're like righteously indignant on your behalf. You should have fought harder. Or you deserve this, or you need to, you need to take him for all he's worth. It just like grates on my ears. That kind of misattuned rage isn't helpful. It just it victimizes you. And it puts you in this power dynamic that you can never win because there's no winning in that. Nobody ever wins in that. Versus a safe place where other women have also experienced the same thing you've experienced or something similar and know exactly how you feel and can validate that in a way that propels you forward, not in a way that's misattuned. And so if you're bumping up against this, like, I want to feel this way about my life and I want to create these results in my life after my divorce, but my own brain keeps telling me that this is really hard and um, I'm heartbroken and I have to struggle, and maybe other people in your life are kind of implying that too. I think that's why I get so crawly when people offer me pity. I'm like, wait, no, you're misunderstanding. Um, if that's you, I want you to know that that's just misattuned emotional support. And you don't have to adopt that. There's about to be, and there is here on my Instagram and on, my followers, my email list, a community where you can feel how you feel on those really raw days and also keep a very empowered, aligned mindset about your future and your current circumstances and what's possible for you. Okay. So we reframed the glow up narrative, right, from the inside out. And we talked about the internal identity shift and how it's not about your ex, it's about you trusting yourself again and really focusing on your vision, not on the victim mentality people want to offer you, and then on other people's opinions, society's discomfort. It's not their fault. They don't know what to do with you. And that's okay. They don't need to know. You are on the leading edge. You're on the cutting edge of a new paradigm. And I know that you love that because you love going first, just like me. Okay. So please do not take my intentional, chosen mindset and love and passion for my current life and the success that I've had and my celebrating it to mean that there aren't really raw, gross, hard, ugly moments and that I don't struggle with things, because I do. I definitely do. And that's part of it. That's an important part of it. That's the 50-50 of it all. And there's no way I would be where I am now if I didn't have that part of it. It's informing so much of where I'm going. I wouldn't even want to trade it. I love this 50-50. Okay. That's all I have for you today. Hopefully the sound works. I did a sound check, so I think we're good. If you have any questions, let me know. And please stay tuned, because there is a new masterclass that is going to drop and that will be available for enrollment in the next week. So August 11th is the day. So 2025, if you're listening to this after the fact, then you can get the replay. All right. I will see you next week. Bye. Thanks for listening to the So Good It Doesn't Make Sense podcast. If today's episode resonated, please take a minute and leave a review. It helps women find this work and change their lives and divorces too. For more support, be sure you follow me on Instagram at Megan Norris Coaching. That's where I share real-time strategy, perspective, and what it actually looks like day to day. And when you're ready to go deeper, join the Divorce Academy, my monthly membership for women navigating divorce with clarity, power, and community. I'll see you next week. This podcast is for informational purposes only and is not a substitute for legal, financial, or mental health advice. Please consult with licensed professionals as needed.